Hey everyone, Nat Daddy here with another quick Omni review. Today we're going to check out Spider-Man 2099. This is Volume 1. We got a big boy again here. It takes quite a while to read these suckers and also to lift them. This is 1,384 pages. If you're not familiar, this is the Spider-Man of the Future 2099, Miguel O'Hara. This collects Spider-Man 2099, 1 through 46. It's got a couple of other 2099 titles in there as well. You got Ravage, you got an X-Men, you got Doom, you got a Punisher. Those all tie into one of these storylines in here. And then you also have the Spider-Man Annual, Spider-Man 2099 meets Spider-Man, and then there was just a Spider-Man 2099 special. So again, we have all the covers here. I always like this on the Omnibus, that they do show all the covers and that. So that's pretty cool. Alright, let's jump into this. I myself love Spider-Man 29. I have the second volume sitting on the shelf here, getting ready to be read once I finish off the next book in that. But again, for anyone that's not familiar with the 2099 universe of Spider-Man and Marvel, it's basically the world in 2099. New York has kind of grown up instead of outwards. They've grown higher in that, so a lot of it's called nouveau work. So a lot of your cliche 90s feeling futuristic views of the world. Again, it's Miguel. He's a Spider-Man. He has his powers through an accident. There's a lab as well. It's not quite the same as Peter Parker. He's a little bit more of less of a goody-goody. He's a scientist in the future, works for Alchemax. Alchemax is still around. They kind of almost run everything, like in a business government type thing. Of course, you got your first issue there, issue 1. This is in the Raw comic itself, has that red foil cover on there, so awesome cover, very nostalgic, iconic. So it starts off and it shows how Miguel even becomes Spider-Man through a lab accident at the Alchemax and that. And then he slowly just kind of starts to become Spider-Man more and more on out of have to, not because he wants to. He lives in an apartment. He has this holographic assistant here that looks like Marilyn Monroe. Her name is Lila. That's pretty cool. He has a younger brother named, his name is Miguel. His brother's name, I forget it at the second here. But you know, they kind of always kind of fight off each other a little bit. He's got a mom and a father that aren't really mentioned a little bit. Mom shows up a little bit more later. You can see here he has more of a monster spider qualities compared to Peter Parker. He actually has fangs and he actually has like talons and that on his hands. And the you know, he can shoot webs and climb walls and everything in that as well too. So in the future here, Thors are kind of worshipped. So you have Thor and the Thorites. When Miguel ends up becoming more known, people start worshipping him as well too, kind of Spiderite. You got some new villains in here. A lot of the villains here are kind of newer versions of ongoing villains. Like you get your Goblin 2099, you get your Punisher 2099, Vulture in that as well too. So a lot of this stuff does tie into, like I said, into the Alchemax that's kind of trying to runs the world from a corrupt business. But lots of great artwork in here. The whole run is done by Peter David, so that's pretty cool there. Again, I really like that Spider-Man suit. Back then, I wasn't a huge fan of anything that wasn't like kind of the original Spider-Man, especially things like nowadays, the Spider-Verse and that, but I really like all this. Some great artwork consistently throughout. That's the Vulture of 2099 there. So again, it kind of a futuristic, a little bit more darker version of the classic Spider-Man. And again, all this stuff does take place in the future. But in Volume 2, a lot of it takes place in current time because that Miguel kind of comes back to meet with the regular Spider-Man and interact in our timeline a little bit. So again, great book here. These are some of the Thorites and Hemidale. Lots of adventures in here, lots of action, lots of great 90s artwork in that. So if you're a fan of Spider-Man 29, and if you've been thinking of checking this out, do check out this book. It is a great value. Like I said, 1,400 pages. And again, you get the second volume out that's out now as well too. So do check this out. Like I said, at the back of the book here, they do have some of the kind of ads and stuff like that in here. So that's really neat too. Concept work and that. The one thing that they don't have in here, which is not a huge thing in that, is they don't refer to the Amazing Spider-Man 365 that has kind of like the preview picture and that in there, a little bit of the story. So, but still a great thing. Do check it out. Spider-Man 2099.